Go ahead and call the meeting to order. Public communications, none. Conflicts disclosure, none. No changes to the agenda. So we'll move right away into the budget hearing to approve the 2023-24 budget. Do I have a motion to approve the 2023-2024 budget? Thank you, Marty. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Aaron. Discussion. I think that just to get things started, Lori did a nice job of putting together the information within this booklet. I mean, really, any question you want answered about school funding, about our history over the last 10 to 15 years, it really is contained in here. You do a nice job of putting together the budget. I feel like in going through it, it coincides with the direction he's giving Jim and you over the last few months, and just open it up for discussion as to if anybody had any questions as to what we put together final.
There is one thing I would like to tell you about capital outlay. Like you said, whatever we discussed at the preliminary budget hearing, and as we've gone through the negotiation process, we've not made any other changes. Capital outlay budget, we are in the middle of this project, and you have seen what's in the budget, as far as the itemized things. And then a month or two ago, maybe at the preliminary budget, I can't remember, but Mr. Block put together this spreadsheet. And these are just, there's other little things that we're gonna have to do to get this building all wrapped up and completed. We don't know exactly what all those little projects are. We don't know the cost yet. But at that time, you guys had given us an amount of $500,000 to be able to use for that. Okay, I do not have these included, or that $500,000 included in the budget, because we don't know where the amounts are, exactly where they're gonna go. So if I put them in there, it's gonna be a crapshoot and it's just gonna mess things up. So as we go along and we get costs and we know what we're doing, we'll bring it back to you, and then we'll do like a supplemental budget. Like, okay, we're gonna install this or do whatever. You guys are like, okay. And then we'll do a supplemental budget, and we'll just keep a spreadsheet with that $500,000 limit, because otherwise it's just gonna get too messy. So I just wanted to explain that to you.
On that note, people should realize these items you're talking about that are going in there, we knew that before we started the project.
Yeah, absolutely.
That those items were going to be coming.
That's correct.
So when people say, well, that should have been included, we knew those items. We chose to handle those,
Yep.
after the fact. So like you explained, it's
Outside.
And that's also, like the last 2 or 3 years, we knew all of this, and then that's why we were budgeting the way we were budgeting, to build this up to cover that stuff.
We've carried a little fund balance forward.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah. I'm just
Very good point.
Yep.
public up to speed.
So the busing took a pretty big jump. Is that fuel, do you think? Or-
Yeah, did I put that in there? My
Yeah.
message from him?
Yeah.
And he just said that fuel was ridiculous, and he sure hopes that changes.
So is that the surcharge, or is that he's gonna up our per mile charge?
Well, the per mile, it's written in the contract that increases each year,
Every year so
Yeah.
much.
right?
I don't
A
remember.
certain percentage,
Yeah, it
yeah.
is.
Yeah, a certain percentage.
3% or I don't know what it was. We had the option of a 3-year or 5-year, depending on what will go up each one, which one we chose.
I don't remember which one we did, but, and we could get it out and look. Maybe there is an annual increase there, I don't remember.
There
for
is.
Sure. Okay, but per year, the mileage is set, but there is the fuel surcharges that we see every month,
Yep.
And then
So-
also, Aaron, like, it all depends on, like how many miles are driven. So if it ends up where we add, families here and there, it's gonna increase no matter what, so.
So the large increase that you had in the budget, is that because you're just predicting the fuel surcharges to be so high?
Yeah, it's just what his estimated increase and also the fuel surcharge, so hopefully we won't spend that, but.
You know, we've talked about this in the past, but we should go back to it and just, the busing committee should just take a look at the map and just see if there are any outliers of out-of-district people that, you know, are on the bus route. And if we can go talk to them as a board and say, hey, look, you know, if their children are in
they're
high
not
school,
using it.
if they're not using it, you know, it's always kind of been, they were grandfathered in, they're in. Once they're out, then they're probably out, but maybe we can change that to try to save some dollars.
And it doesn't matter, like if your kids don't ride home one night, we still pay for that because you're on the original route.
I think, I mean, Joel, getting at that, we've talked in the past that sometimes parents did not understand that even if they had a child that was like a junior in high school, they still kept them on the bus route, even though they never rode
Just in
the
case.
bus
Yep.
one time. Well, that just in case, we pay for every single day. Twice a day, yeah, every single day, twice a day. And so if there are parents that are out there that have their students that are driving in 98% of the time, absolutely as a board, I think we've tried to put it out here the last few years that we'd ask that they come and talk to us because we would like to work with them. If there's a way that we can make it work for both parties, it's in our interest to have, for lack of a better phrase, individual conversations or individual negotiations with those parents to save us on those funds. Because we've had parents that finally understood what was happening a year or two after their student graduated and said, I didn't know that. If I would have known that was the case, then we would have not had them on the bus route.
So what would happen if I took my kids off the bus route and one day we couldn't get them in? The bus simply will not go there if you say take them off the contract.
Right.
Correct.
Is there any way you can work it into the next contract?
That's a good question.
Where you would say, okay, you can charge us whatever the mileage is, charge us $2 extra for those emergency situations to go pick them up. It's still gonna save you a lot of money.
Don't disagree with that.
That's a great question. Yep.
That's a big increase.
Yeah.
Well, and to be quite frank,
But that
we
would.
can always amend the contract. Maybe we should just have, at this point in time, the way you put it like that, maybe we need to have a meeting with our bus negotiations, which, don't we decide that group again yet here
Yep.
tonight, Transportation Committee, so I'm sure everybody will be jumping up and down.
Aaron was volunteering.
Aaron, you got the first vote. Maybe we should do that and ask to have a meeting with Kevin to see if there's a conversation that could be had on it.
And you know, the routes might not be completely set yet, but they have most of the names, so maybe that's something the committee could look over on those names too and
Right.
to kind of see if there's somebody with high school kids only or.
So I think that when Kevin first came in, did him and Donna Wick actually spend a lot of, wasn't that Donna that helped a lot on that? If I remember right.
They went through it.
You know, with a fine tooth comb and tried to,
I think they do almost every year.
yeah,
They
eat
just
every
review it.
mile out of it. I remember that conversation. So,
So then I have another question on the budget it also deals with this month's billing. We did K through 12 cameras. We purchased, what was that for $35,000?
That's just the down payment.
So
For,
then you're another $80,000 for next year's budget?
no, can I just look?
To purchase the equipment, they request or expect a down payment agreement, and all of this has to happen after July 1 with our budget, our fiscal budget.
So it's part of the 80,000. This
Yeah.
down payment is part of that 80,000.
So the cameras then are gonna be 80,000 or less?
Yes, because he got the estimate or the quote, and it was under the 80,000.
A lot of money for cameras.
The old ones will talk to the new ones.
Are they the same brand?
I don't know that for sure, but I would almost guess not. I mean, our old ones, some of our old ones, I think we replaced them from all of them. We had some of the older ones from 2001, 2002 still.
Because I have two camera systems of my own. They're different VR systems. they're different cameras, but they're the same brand. And they're 6 years difference in age. And I mean, they're very good cameras. And that's not even a fraction of the cost. I think when you see those dollars for cameras, to me, I look at it as, well, number one, it's a taxpayer-funded project. I think they never get a deal. But two, when you say school security, I think they're maybe taking advantage of that headline. To me, $80,000 on cameras. Are they going Wi-Fi? So did they
They're all
run outlets
IP.
then to all of them? Where they're
What's
gonna be? They run power then to wherever there's gonna be a camera then?
They will be run, I think, a Cat 6 wire. But
Oh, they're still running
they're
wires.
They're IP based, so
And do you have intercom and everything on these?
the camera system is separate from the intercom, bells, clocks. That is all one system, which is another one that's extremely expensive.
The cameras and the clocks are all one?
No,
Oh, they're not.
he asked if the cameras were in line with the rest. The clocks, the bells, and the intercom are a separate system, but they are together. They'll be interfaced together, so. The cameras are separate, it's a separate system.
Problem we have is just also the number of people willing to get bid on these projects. I mean, no different than with, doing the CT, I mean, when we put out the bids, there used to be, it wasn't unusual to get 3 or 4 bidders on items, projects. Our number of bidders has dropped in the past few years, we've seen also on our capital outlay projects. I mean, you
I
would
just
think
feel
that
we're not
sounds,
I just feel we're really getting taken advantage of on that. I thought even on the clocks when we did that, but I don't know how much clocks are worth, but I thought that was a lot of money for the clocks, Just for how many cameras is there gonna be?
I don't have that with me. We currently have a 32 and a 16 DVR, and they're full, and we're going more than that.
So over 50?
I want to say we have a capability of 64, but I'd have to look at the specs on that.
And Davis Bacon steps in for, no?
Nope, not for that. That's not ESSER funds.
Oh, okay.
So that's not like for security or something, that's not considered?
Nope, that camera system is just separate.
I guess I agree with a lot of what you're saying, Aaron, but when I hear the number of cameras, that brings it a little more into perspective for me. You're talking $1,200, $1,300 a camera, that's a lot of cameras.
well, what other option do we have? I mean, that's just the bottom line. We don't have another option.
No,
If we had somebody that was gonna be able to do it at a better price, we'll take it, but we don't have another option.
So have they done the wiring already?
The new part's been pulled, but the old part, or the new part roughly, I guess is what I should say.
Any other comments on the budget?
Well, like we talked earlier, the mill levy has gone down every year. Our valuation has gone up. So, and of course, the general fund, that's set by the state, so, yeah, the tax dollars increase, even though the mill levy reduced. So I think it was 10% more in money that we get on the general fund from the local effort, even though the mill levy went down. I don't know how you keep up with it, Lori.
Well, I think we also have to recognize, I mean, the numbers are changing too. I mean, the taxable valuations, ag always was 100% king. Now, we are at a state where we are almost caught up. Other non-ag/utilities is gaining significant speed in our school district. And other non-ag/utilities is taxed at $6.25. Ag is taxed at $1.40. So if you actually look at where the actual dollars come from, the 150,561,210, if you take that times the 6, you're getting a much larger number now than what you were originally with the levy on the ag. Owner occupied is staying somewhat consistent. They're at 158, but the non-ag utilities has gone up significantly. And that would be your vacation homes, your secondary houses, whether they be here in Webster, if they're using them as rentals, your businesses, whether it be the New Frontier or my law office or Joel's shops.
You can move into my shop, I'll be owner occupied.
Larry, we're gonna watch for you going for owner occupied on your shop, buddy. But it's a significant number right now that is on the non-ag/utilities if you look at that math. Capital outlay was at, according to our 21-22, was at 253. That was our levy. We're still not pretty low on that. Anything else?
I don't have a lot to say this year. I mean, I think we've already talked about Lori and Jim did a good job putting this all together. We've been anticipating some of these costs coming up, so we've been budgeting for them, and we're sitting on a little surplus right now to pay for those projects. I say good job to the administration and the staff for keeping costs under control and making our dollars go the extra mile. So this year's really pretty easy for me. Everything's staying the same and good to go.
And then, one more thing I was going to just say about capital outlay too, is that if you saw in your budget book, our debt, our long-term debt, our athletic complex, we make our last payment in 25-26. Our elementary building is supposed to be 27-28, but because that money is in a sinking fund, that's how we had it set up. They think that we should be able to pay that off a year early. You know, so by 26-27, we'll get rid of a lot of debt.
Okay.
How did you, on the food, stayed relatively the same, is that that's just a guess?
Yeah, it is. I look at what our revenues and expenditures are, you know, where we end the year at. And you know, like expenditures are pretty close because, you know, salaries, we know exactly what they're gonna be. Food cost, but you just kind of estimate that. So the revenue is what you don't know as much, so. But, you know, because of, we're okay there too, so.
Anything else?
So on the food, I guess I could wait for
Meal prices?
this. Yeah.
We've got that. We'll be hitting that later
All right,
on.
well, I'll wait.
Yep, we'll be hitting that later on. Any other conversation? All in favor of the 2023-2024 budget as presented, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to approve the minutes of our regular meeting of June 12th. Thank you, Aaron. Second, Joel. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Motion to approve supplemental budget 6-04-23.
So moved.
Thank you, Joel. Second, Marty. Discussion. I think you just kind of hit this earlier during the conversation.
Well, a lot of this has to do with our grants because, you know, they're ever changing throughout the year and so we don't have those budgeted in. So a lot of this is getting those grants into the budget after I know what we've spent and received.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to approve the contingency transfer.
So moved.
Thank you, Larry. Second?
So,
Thank you, Joel. Discussion? I think it's contained within your budget book there, well, excuse me, actually in your board packet. Nothing jumps out of line there.
Maintenance repairs,
Yeah.
they were horrible. I mean, that's not our total maintenance repair, that's just what, yeah. Hmm?
What's that boiler?
Part of it,
Part of it is.
yeah, a lot of it, or quite a bit of it.
Stuff we've talked about, unfortunately. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to approve the, we don't have to do the financial statements for this month, don't we? Still gotta do that, Lori?
Yes.
Okay. Motion to approve the financials, should I do claims first?
No, claims are in the new business.
New business? Okay, motion to approve the financial statements as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Joel. Second, Aaron. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to adjourn as the 2022-2023 Board of Education. Thank you, Aaron. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Marty. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Do we have to do new board members?
Yep. So at this time, we will administer the oath to the new board member, and that'll be Aaron.
I, Aaron Gakowski of Webster Area School District Number 18-5, have been elected as school board member of the above-named school district in the above-named county, South Dakota. Do solemnly swear that I will support the laws and Constitution of the United States and the state of South Dakota, and to faithfully perform the duties of school board membership and by filling a bond if required by law and having it approved.
Okay, and so at this time, we will call to order the 23-24 Board of Education. And with that, I ask for nominations for chairperson.
And nominate Tom.
Thanks, guys.
There be no other
Make
nominations.
motion nomination cease.
Second.
And a unanimous ballot be cast for Tom Sanis as chairperson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. I do enjoy working here, and so thanks, and hopefully we'll have a good year. Just get a little worried when everybody laughs and chuckles right away when they say that. So, might be a little bit there to come, but all right. Can I have a motion to for a vice chair?
Make motion nominate Joel. Second.
Got a motion by Larry for Joel, second by Marty. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, then we go right into the designations.
Monthly claims, please.
Oh, sorry about that. Motion to approve the monthly claims as presented in your book. Thank you. Second,
Second.
discussion.
I have one. Oh, Northwestern.
2 months.
Okay.
Their last one came in late. Good
Oh.
catch.
Sound system in the Armory, is that Tom?
Yes.
How's it sound?
I think it's pretty good.
Pretty good?
Yeah, we can lift her up if we want.
Is that web, for our web, is that a yearly fee? That's $7,000, is that what's?
After G, yes.
So the reason we're paying for the part of the Armory project out of the general fund is because it's ESSER money? Is that right?
Which claim now?
The speakers system, sound system.
Who's the vendor? Help me out here.
Connecting point? Or is that something that,
No, that came out of capital outlay.
that's under the general fund?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, just that, I'm sorry. Yes, but the sound system, it's in this building. The Armory sound system, that was on its own.
That's a different deal.
Yep,
Okay.
that was our capital outlay.
But nevertheless, it's sound system.
In this
Here.
building, we are using partial ESSER funds, yes.
Okay.
I have a question, I think it goes back to the budget, but it was for the CTE building, the lease. Did they negotiate something where if we get out of that early, or?
I just made the choice that we would be done in August, which is when the contract ends. I had a brief conversation with Tom Wagner via phone. We'll probably do a walkthrough and I don't know if they'll assess something to us for anything that's, the damage or needs fixing or whatever. But the actual contract goes through August, I want to say 15th or the end of August. And it's not that that building would be unusable for us, but it really would be better for us to, worst case scenario, and I hope the contractors aren't listening, if they don't get things done and we aren't ready to utilize the facilities here, it would be in our best interest to, I have a contingency plan, or I've got something sort of started, and I would say that's the biggest challenge to that contingency plan. I see no reason to stay down there and even pay an extra $2,200 per month or whatever it would be when there's no dust collection system down there, there's no ventilation system for welding. It basically is a classroom that they would probably do safety stuff. It'd be a larger classroom by all means, but I just felt like when the contract's done, the contract's done, and if we have to make some contingency plans here, we'll do that here in this building. Saves us on transportation, all kinds of things. We have exploratory kids in the fall. There's some transportation needs that I like to try to prevent. So yeah, I thought about a lot of little things with that. I'm just hoping that we don't have to do something here, but if we do, I've got a plan started. He basically would probably have to do some safety tests, some initial teachings in whatever classes he's going to offer, that we're offering in the fall, until this facility would be ready. But I prefer he do that in this building and not down there for the cost, the transportation, and all of those things.
Anything else as to claims? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, so can I do one big motion as to this?
Yes, we'll do one motion, Tom, but can you use the agenda because some of these don't have an item in the notes, so we
Okay.
don't miss one?
All right, so, and I can go, I'm gonna get a motion to approve the official newspaper as the Webster Reporter and Farmer, our depository of funds to be, Laura, you tell me.
Dakota Bank, First Interstate Bank, Core Trust, and South Dakota Fit.
Custodian of all accounts,
Me,
person authorized for state fed programs,
Block,
appoint approval officers for school food service application and hearing officials.
Block, O'Farrell, and it was Gaikowski last year.
You good with that, Aaron?
Took a lot of time, but.
Should we just go through those first five right now, and then we hit the, or do you want NESC right now?
Keep going. We'll
All right,
just keep going like we
NESC,
are.
who's the two members of NESC? Or a member and two alternates?
It was Luenga, and then Gaikowski and Shoemaker were alternates.
Sounds great to me, Larry.
I'm good with it.
Larry says good. Okay, you guys good? Thanks. Member for the Board of Equalization?
Stannis,
Yeah, I'll do it. Truancy officers?
Block and Case,
Title IX and 504 coordinators.
Title IX case, 504 block,
School attorney,
Freeman,
purchasing agent,
O'Farrell.
approve statement of assurances for federal programs, designate majority vote, in other words, an approval needed by the majority of all board members, appoint a person to invest and borrow funds in the name of the district,
O'Farrell.
set school board meetings for 2023, 2024 on the second Monday of each month, commencing at 7 p.m.
Ooh, I got a question. Yeah. Could we back that up to 6? Anybody have any interest in that? I mean, I get rolling early in the morning, and by 9 o'clock I'm melting. I don't want to be here past. You know, I just thought I'd throw it out there.
I understand, Grandpa, but I'm good with 6.
Does that bother any of you guys? Is it?
Some days, some days I'm still working, but I mean, I just have to shut it off early. I don't really care.
I could do 6. Jim?
Yep.
Larry, does that conflict with your schedule?
Well, I don't know.
It does.
If it does, I'll just live with it.
Okay, 6 o'clock. All right, interest generated may be transferred to the general fund. Allow use of signature stamp for the business manager, superintendent, school board president. Do we do committee assignments on this one too?
Yep.
Okay, give me the committees then, Lori.
Negotiations, it was Sanis and Shoemaker. Keep going, or are you gonna?
Well,
Keep going.
Yeah.
Professional practices, personnel were Shoemaker and Sanis, buildings and grounds, Jareva and Shoemaker, transportation, Gaikowski and Luenga.
does anybody want to change? Well, I'm good with it. Marty? Aaron? Larry?
Yeah.
All right.
Do Aaron or Marty, do you guys want on buildings and grounds?
No, that's right. This all get wrapped up.
Well, I mean, I was just thinking if one of you guys wanted on it, if
I
it
would
didn't
go
want
on.
on the project, I could still
There
do
you
the
keep
project.
it.
Whatever. We can leave it the same for now. I'll just have you, everybody know that Larry does a damn good job.
I agree. Thanks, Larry. I mean, right now, it does need to be acknowledged. Larry
Yes.
does come down here.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. I do appreciate everything you're doing, Larry, coming down here and keeping track of, I mean, you know the workers by name, you know who's here. I mean, Larry's
That's good.
here, and that's a good thing, so, thank you.
Do they roll your eyes when you show up?
Just one of them.
One guy was vaping and he headed out the door.
All right, set salaries for board members. What are we at still?
60,
That's what it's been since 2011? Or 10?
2005,
2005? is
probably
when-
before.
Okay.
I'm just gonna ask a question. Money, but would it help attract people to run for office? Would pay more, pay better? I don't know. What are other districts paying?
Anywhere from 50 to 75.
Okay, so we're right in there. Okay.
Substitute rates. I looked at the information you provided. I thought we were really good last year, and we got ourselves in line. I think we're okay still for that rate this year. Are you guys okay with that?
And we did take, we did take a big increase last year.
Dr. Block, are you good with it?
I think we're good with it. I'm not saying we have an abundance of subs, and I haven't had any subs. Normally, if we're running low, and especially in comparison to quite a few districts, we usually hear from ourselves. I'm not aware of it being an issue. I mean, obviously, we want one regardless.
Right.
I don't think we have some that are saying, I'm not doing it, you guys are stupid,
And we're, if you look at in the budget book, we're
Yep.
right up with everybody else.
Yeah. We're,
I like to ask that.
yeah. That's going forward. All right, set mileage rate. What's it at, Lori?
51 cents now, state rate.
And allow Dr. Black to advertise for personnel as openings occur and close school due to inclement weather or other emergencies, which will never happen.
Not this year, we won't have to do that.
I'm sure. All right, that's our omnibus motion. Do I have a motion? Somebody can make that.
So move.
Thanks, Larry. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Joel. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to set lunch and breakfast prices.
So moved.
Thank you, Joel. Second?
Claire.
Thank you, Aaron. Discussion? Lori, where are we at?
My recommendation, and this, you do what you want, but I believe we can leave prices as is this year.
I agree.
And I also have it's called a PLE tool that the state requires us to complete. I've completed that, and that does not require us to raise our prices either.
If we were out of line, would it tell us to?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed we were less than our neighboring schools.
Or what?
We were less than our neighboring school.
And you know, we did increase some last year.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we're
So I think
basically-
until it's a necessity, I think we're okay right now.
We're basically breaking even, so that was our goal, wasn't it?
Why did we grow our fund balance so much in the food service?
Because everything was free and we got all meals at, you know, for during COVID. So for those, whatever, 1 or 2 years, when we didn't charge for meals, we got reimbursed from the state, from the federal government at free rates for everyone.
But last year, our fund balance was 113,000, this year it's 190 something,
The fund balance, where are you looking at that at?
You know, one of the first, financial reports.
Right, but are you looking at like the revenue or just, the financial report itself? Let me just look here, okay?
So our fund balance this year, as of June 30th, was 181.
That's our cash balance, that's not our fund balance.
Correct. And the previous year was 113,000.
Yeah, because we also received like like this year, all of our milk, not the snack milk portion, but all the other one, you know, we received 2 different, we've had that in the board meeting, we received funds for that, and so, and the reimbursement rates went up, so yeah, we're doing.
Okay.
I think we should leave the meal prices, I mean, to Larry's point, you know, Lori provides us information with where Rittenheckla, Dual, Groton, Hamlin, Millbank, Redfield, and Sisseton and Webster are, basically the Northeast Conference. And we are the lowest meal rate for lunch with like our 9 through 12, 5 through 8. The only school district lower than us is Rittenheckla. Other school districts were lower than that. I think we're doing a really good job on trying to be cost efficient there. So I'm good with leaving lunch and breakfast prices where they're at. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Okay.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to set the meal reimbursement rates.
And these are for state events only.
Thanks, Larry. Second? Second. Thanks, Marty. Discussion.
Any recommendation here?
I would recommend, I mean, it's up to you guys, but, you know, maybe we could increase them a little
When was the
bit.
last time they were?
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
And I also did put a comparison in the back end.
Yep.
Even if, I mean, I was just thinking, you know, like, I think right now breakfast is at 3, if we went to 5, you know, just a
We're gonna
couple
be
for
like-
each one.
The adults look reasonable, but the students, they're gonna get
Right.
more than the adults, or, you know, I mean.
And I mean, this is just to help supplement, it's not,
Right.
you know, to pay for everything.
You got a recommendation, Joel?
Make them all the same, 6, 14, and 20.
How often is that used a lot?
It is used like state track, state wrestling, state golf, state,
So like
Cross
FFA
country.
events, is that?
state, yeah.
So anything state?
Yes.
And meals are only reimbursed at, there's a policy in place as to what time they leave and how long they're gone, is that we get certain.
I'm open to any numbers.
Yeah, I guess
If we went up to $3 on breakfast, lunch, supper.
have people had a problem with it?
What?
Have they had a problem with it not being enough, or?
I mean, nobody's obviously said anything to me, but I also have to tell you, we have good support in the community too. So like, you know, when golf made it, the Booster Club donated for a meal, and other people have donated to pick up a meal. So there's a lot of good support that way.
I've never heard a complaint on meals. I have heard complaints on a lot.
We try to be forthright in informing the ADs and the coaches and the students that it's not the full reimbursement amount, it's to help pay for the cost of meals and
Well,
We know, as you know, here, the price is just, yeah.
I think all my recommendations make it all the
well,
same.
if we went up $3 a piece, what would that be then, Lori? Where would we be at?
We would be at 6, 8, and 11
You're talking just students?
students only.
Students, yeah. Does that sound more realistic? Let's go up $3 a piece, that's what I'll throw out this year, and then we can revisit it next year. You guys okay with that?
Yeah.
6, 8, and 11, Lori.
Got it.
All in favor, say aye.
Alright.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to set admission prices.
So moved.
Thank you, Joel. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Marty. Discussion? I think the recommendation is leave alone. We're good, right? Same as last year. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to set armory key card prices.
So moved.
Thank you, Joel. Second. Thank you, Larry. Discussion?
Is there a lot of kids that are using that?
Well, I think there is.
I can
What
tell you,
about
this,
adults?
this way.
What about just adults?
I think the place is pretty active.
Yeah, we have a lot of key cards out.
Do we have any idea how many cards we have out there?
No, Tammy would maybe have that. I don't have that info.
I would say it's still a lot.
It's a lot.
That pay or they're just?
But they have to pay to have a key card.
Now, if there's somebody that has financial need, we've always had a policy in place that we could take care of somebody if that is the situation.
So if there's student athletes and they want to go in there, they have to pay the $100 to have a key card?
The adult has to have the key card
Oh.
I can tell you, Aaron.
for
that,
insurance purposes.
So, I'll be in there in the morning, and there's a lot of kids that will come in, a lot of athletes, and you can see them come to the door and you just let them in and all those type of things. For the most part, we've been pretty lucky. I'd say it's high school kids, junior high. I was in there last week where a very young grade school kid came in. And Vanessa Bloom was down there at that point in time, monitoring as part of the coaches monitoring during the summer, and she made sure that she went in there and watched them after I left. But yeah, there does need to be adult supervision, because like this young man, good kid, but definitely not the type that should be in a weight room by himself at the age he was. Parents are supposed to be in the weight room with them, but
They sign, whenever they come to get an application, they sign the form, and on there it says exactly what is, and so if they hand it over to their student, that's,
So it says on there they're supposed to be there?
yes, no one under 18 is supposed to have a key card, so if they give it to their student there.
But you go in there on the weekends and the weeknights, and it's full. What's that? Kids.
All the kids.
Yeah.
Like the Army Arena area.
Yeah, I mean, the Army Arena, you know, they're either doing bad, there's a lot more, I'd say the participation is definitely up down with kids down there playing basketball, volleyball, or doing whatever it may be. You also see families during the winter come down there quite a bit and be walking around the Armory and with adults and then having their kids just playing there. I mean, it's pretty well used. I'd say we should just leave the rates where they're at moment.
I'm good with it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to approve, sorry, I gotta find out the contract for Daniel Grau, custodian.
So moved.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to approve the South Dakota High School Activity Association ballots based upon the recommendations of our athletic director, Rollinger and Shaw.
So moved.
Thank you, Larry. Second, Marty. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to approve as surplus property. Can I do it all as one motion?
Yes.
4 Armory speakers as is, valued at $150 each. At little to no value, 85 Chromebooks, 4 all-in-ones, 40 laptops, 22 headphones, 4 monitors, 6 hard drives, 2 audio equipment parts, 4 splitter boxes, 1 laptop card, music curriculum, and supplies, and a partridge in a pear tree. Can I give me a motion, man?
So moved.
Thanks, Larry. Thanks, Joel. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right. Discussion items. Superintendent report, Dr. Block.
I've got a few items. I didn't put together notes this particular month. First thing I want to mention was just an acknowledgement of our 2 paraprofessionals that serve as our librarians. As you can see, it's very, very organized in here. The 2 of them have been in several days this summer and basically doing it for free to put things in order in both of the elementary and the secondary libraries. So I appreciate what they've done for that. I'll be attending the Superintendent's State Convention this coming Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. It's usually in Chamberlain. It's a nice time to get together with the other superintendents and collaborate with them. We also have a lot of usually very good outreach sessions for that. So they do typically provide us with a lot of updates on some of the things we'll see in the future this coming year for if it's new laws or new restrictions or new guidelines. Things that we have to do. Going to be working on, continuing to work on alternative certification for 2 of our staff members that are in that process, both in year 2 of that process. And so everything through the accreditation process as well as the alternative certification so far has been acceptable. I will say that the State Department of Education Certification Office, I really feel for the folks that are working in that office. I know there are some educators that are extremely critical of the time that it takes to submit your application for research renewal. I'm taking a little bit more of a role of saying they obviously are understaffed and overworked, and they're probably doing as best they can. And they've been, in my opinion, the correspondence that I have has been acceptable, considering what they're dealing with. I'll also be looking at long-term substitute situations, so probably in August I will be coming to you with an approval for application for long-term sub. This is something that's new that we started, I think last year was the first year we had to do it. And maybe it existed, but it wasn't anything that we were aware of or other school districts were using. But the legislature basically kind of was more specific in their definition of what a long-term sub was. And it's anybody that's over 6 weeks for long-term sub. So if you have somebody as a long-term sub that's not a certified or did not currently hold a certificate in South Dakota, you have to seek permission for that person to serve as a long-term sub. We did do it last year for 2 situations, and it appears we're going to need to do that this year. So just a heads up that we'll be looking at that. I didn't bring the sheet with me, but the dual credit credits has been a topic of debate across the state. We have, since the eternity of dual credits, I'm not sure who came up with the system here at Webster. We have, for any 3-credit class, offered 1.25 credits for a 3-credit college course. We've been doing that. I came in 2001 and it was already in place. I think it had to do with the North Central Area Interconnect. For those of you, well, Joel, when you were in high school, they had that. That was a consortium with like Warner and Groton and Frederick, Heckla, Rick, Webster. They taught classes like American Sign Language and some chemistry classes, different things like that. Warner was also part of it. Through that consortium, I think is where some of those numbers came from. Now, why am I mentioning this is because it's actually a significant change to our district. What the state has decided, and it's supposedly a compromise, I don't know who was on the committee. I felt like it probably would be something we'd have to change anyway because we were on the high end. I don't know of anybody else that was offering 1.25 credits for a 3-credit class. I think we were probably, if there's anybody else out there, maybe a couple other schools. The least amount that they've been offering is 0.25 or something like that, so they can do each quarter. I don't really agree with the ratios that they came up with. 0 to 3 doesn't make sense to me because what are you going to do for a dual credit class that's 0? You're not earning a dual credit class. So that didn't make sense to me. I don't understand that, why that wasn't 1 credit.
Yeah, why would you
To
designate that?
3 credits. The other issue that you can run into now with the way they've set it up is you could have kids take, say like, you have to minimally give 0.5 credits per semester. So let's say somebody takes 1 credit in the fall, they get 0.5, they take another credit in the fall, or in the spring, they get 0.5, they're getting one full credit of high school credit for 2 credits of college. Well, somebody taking a 3-credit class in the fall would only get 0.5 credits. Some of it doesn't make sense. I wasn't on the committee, and I purposely chose not to engage in the conversation and testify or do any of that. So in essence, we are going to have to change as a district. Going from 1.25, we will give 0.5 for a 3-credit. And we'll give as much as we can according to what they allow. I'll get those ratios to you. We will figure out how it's going to work. I think there's a transition plan. I don't know which grade levels get affected immediately. But it was worth mentioning to you folks that we will see a change in what we currently do in our district because of what the state is now requiring. Aberdeen was in the same boat as us. I think they had been giving 1 credit at the high school level for a 3-credit class. And they're on block scheduling similar to us, and it works nice for our system. And they did testify against it, but the board basically voted on what they believed was a compromise because that's what the secretary had said. Our in-service schedules, I pretty much have the in-service schedule put together for the August in-service prior to the school year. One of the changes that I did want to mention, and I will be sending probably by the end of this week already, that would give me 1 month's notice for my teachers and pairs coming back. I hate to say that it's the end of this week. We're 4 weeks away from starting the in-service, but our teachers will be here on Tuesday and Thursday of that particular week, which is like the 15th and the 17th. 16 is an optional day for them if they wish to go to Northern State University or if they wish to work in-house. The change for us, the 2 big changes for our pairs is we previously had 1 day of in-service for pairs. I had requested as an administrator to go to 2 days budgetary wise, because that was one of the things that came out of our school improvement process. I'm actually going to ask our pairs to come in 3 days this year. We can pay a stipend for them or their pay for 1 day, as well as get some additional training through TIE for specifically for paraprofessionals. So right now, our tentative schedule for paras is Tuesday with the teachers, Wednesday here themselves that would be required for them, and Thursday here with the teachers. So that's the big change. And then the only thing I wanted to mention beyond that was, and Lori, you can help me with the numbers if you know it off the top of your head. We did get some E-rate funding to do some upgrades in our network infrastructure in the middle school. That building's 1990 and some of the older stuff in the building, because the elementary was remodeled in 2010. This is an 05, so that was some of the older stuff. Do you know how much that was?
Yeah, it's in the budget.
It was in the budget,
Yeah.
okay. Just, I think anytime that we get grant funds or funds that are for those types of things, it's good to mention those things. Because it isn't, you know, some of it is you go through the process and there's some paperwork that Lori has to do. Some of it does require quite a bit of work. And so I appreciate what Lori and Tammy have done to make that happen so that we can utilize the amounts that were allotted as a school district. We didn't just let those funds go. Unless you have any questions, that's what I have.
Okay. Anything for Dr. Block? Thank you, Dr. Block. Principal report, Mr. Case is, I believe, in Germany still. So we'll move on to, is it NESC?
Yes.
There's nothing new. Pretty standard.
They're just getting prepared for the next year. Hiring school sites is still somewhat of an issue for finding the adequate number of staff for the needs that the co-op currently has right now. But I think they've got a plan in place to make it work.
Okay. Buildings and grounds.
Lots of things with that. So I'll try to just give you some background on what we've had happen recently, and then if you have any questions, please let me know. As you know, that the wall was started previous to last month's meeting, and that was kind of put on hold. We've seen a lot of prep work in what will be the parking lot area. The office area, we were able to move some of the stuff in today. They did do a walkthrough, that'll be 2 weeks ago tomorrow already, and there were several, quite a laundry list of things that needed to be addressed. From my understanding and from what I can observe, I think they've addressed the majority of those, if not all of them. I haven't seen anything that they haven't addressed. The timeline's been probably the most frustrating part to it. And so Lori and I and Abby have moved some of our stuff in. Most of my stuff is moved in. I had some home for the weekend, and I utilized his muscles to kind of move some of my stuff. The south part for the Career and Tech Ed wing, probably the most significant thing that you're seeing is that they've got most of it sheetrock, but it's insulated, plastic, sheetrock, and now they're taping a good portion of that. They have continued to do some of the block work. Most of the inlet doorways for all of the classrooms are done. I think there's still the wall that separates the construction classroom and the robotics classroom is not up and going right now. They are putting in the divider wall in the ag classroom that will provide the storage area, the office area, so that is underway. I have to be honest, I didn't even walk down into the construction site today to know if there was any block layers working today.
Yeah.
So,
They were laying block, they were painting one of the shop areas.
they have made, I think, very good strides in securing the site. I know that they have a few exterior doors on the office area. The exterior door that is basically the firewall from the original outside wall, that door is in place and lockable. And then they've been putting a kind of a wire lock that I have the code to get in and out of the building for them if I need to through that particular entrance. That is locked. So There's still access to the construction site, but coming into this building is not blocked. And has been for more than a week now, so. They did demo in what used to be the middle school science lab. They still need to take the door, the windows, the other door, another set of windows, and another door on both sides of what will now be our, in the future will be our special ed room. So there's a lot of demo that still needs to occur there. I'm not quite sure why they didn't continue with demoing the doorways and the windows, because they all have headers over them. They would have just been openings. But for whatever reason, they tore out that one wall and they stopped. So there hasn't been a whole lot going on with that particular part of the building. When we are able to move completely out of the office area into this new office area, I believe there will be demo starting hopefully as soon as possible for what will be our new center facility. So, got a lot of extra projects that we will be dealing with. We haven't started a whole lot of them. Typically got to wait until July 1 to get things going, and so I anticipate a lot of the smaller projects that are side projects associated with this, or even some that have nothing to do with the big project, will be getting most of them with local contractors in the coming weeks.
A lot to happen in what, the next, how many days till school starts, Jim?
We were just discussing that. Well, it's a month, basically. By the end of this week, it's a month for the teachers to come back, and so we're looking at a month and another handful of days. Yes, there is a tremendous amount of work that needs to be done in a short amount of time.
People have commented about the playground ever since this project started. We'll gain close to 60% more playground work done than what you have this year. Once this is over. So they'll still have room to play.
I was walking around there looking at that. Larry, you and I should go take a look at that, how we want to finish, and Dr. Black, how we want to finish the west side of the building. Are we going to try to seed that? Is it going to be gravel? Do we want sand? You know what I mean?
I would say, and I'm just speaking initially here, I would say we want to make sure we do something to make sure that it goes to that drain. And typically, if we were to plant sod there, I'm guessing we'll have some heavy rains, and we'll have some washouts that go wherever they choose to go. I like the asphalt or some sort of a surface right beside the building that leads us in the direction we want it to go, at least to start.
We may want to look at that. I went back there and looked at it on Friday, and where the asphalt was removed for the utility work, that gets paved back in, but the rest of it is just back to existing. I don't know if that's a good idea.
It would be a mess.
Yeah.
Playground would
I just thought of it, so I brought it up.
be.
I need to look at
Next
it.
spring is then to address.
I generally feel like I have bad luck, and so if we just do sod, my guess is we're gonna get more rain than we've normally had, in the fall. That kind of happened with this building. We had a pretty steep slope, and oh my word, we got a lot of rain, and all it did was just gush through it, and it washed out these little rivers. And a good portion of our topsoil was on the asphalt. It just washed it out in the parking lot. So hence, we went a little bit farther and said, we've got to find some sort of a barrier that pulls some of this back. That's why we put that very large retaining wall around the entire building. That was not part of the building project. Good point. We need to address that.
Did they figure out the retaining wall over here then by the steps? What we're gonna do?
We have not finalized those, but we've had some good conversation about what we can do. I think we may actually extend it a little bit farther to the north. And so we don't have that big, as my understanding is when the steps come out, there'll be kind of a concrete wall. There's probably a concrete wall there. It's probably not going to be the most appealing. And so if we can bring that retaining wall a little bit closer to the bottom of the ramp, There will be, we will need to do an RFP, I suppose, for that little extension, but we've had some good conversation, we just haven't finalized what we're gonna do. Partly because we'll see a little bit more stuff happen when the grade and asphalt, all that stuff gets done.
Okay, anything else, buildings and grounds? All right, last item on the agenda we have tonight is the cyber protection for insurance. We discussed that last meeting, said we were gonna bring it up this meeting. Go ahead and open it, Lori, where are we at on that?
Well, I did send out some messages, and I only got 3 people that responded, but I just want to tell you, Groton did purchase, but they did it before this. Hamlin making no changes, and I'm just going to tell you what Millbank said. She said that they did receive a quote for extra coverage that ranges from 7 to 11,000, so that's right in our range, depending on the limit. She said our insurance package went up 19,000 this year, so I don't want to have additional coverage. She said South Dakota Bit did an analysis of our technology systems and gave us a good security rating, so we are going with that for now. So they are not purchasing the extra either. Groton, yes. Hamlin, Millbank, no. The others did not respond. And if we want the extra, it is $7,247.
Am I right to assume that our email is through a third party, through the state, correct? So, they have security.
They do, right, Mr. Block?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's the data center at Dakota State. As well as our Infinite campus, that is all backed up and has security through the state program.
So we're paying for it already.
So the worst case is that they could just basically shut us down, and so teacher A couldn't use the Prometheus board, correct?
They could do something that could maybe affect our internal network where we wouldn't be able to print, we wouldn't be able to communicate that we
Right.
could do in-house. Could be something to do with the Prometheus panels.
But we would not lose, as long as Dakota State doesn't lose, grades, Infinite Campus, all of that stuff should still be there.
That would be a statewide issue if it was an issue, simply because the state is the one that houses that, they're the ones that back it up.
I'm okay with going with Millbank and taking a little bit of risk.
I can put it already.
Marty, you're a yes, Aaron? Okay, we're gonna skip on it this year. Perfect. Next board meeting is August 14th at 6
p.m.
p.m. Motion to move into executive session for personnel.